You're listening to the Moody Mommies podcast.
Audio warning. You may or may not hear kids screaming and yelling in the background, or us screaming or yelling at them to keep it together.
All right, guys, it's time to get moody. I am Vanessa.
And I'm Jessica.
And we are joined today by a very special guest. Do you want to help us pronounce your name correctly so we don't murder it up?
Anais.
Anais. That's what we
told
thought
you.
it was. Okay.
I know. I mean, we're the probably most whitewashed. Not whitewashed, but...
No, you can say whitewash. We're pretty whitewashed, I guess.
Yeah, we can't pronounce anything. My R's never roll.
Never.
Well, you guys like my Spanish is perfect. I'm far from perfect with my Spanish.
We don't even have Spanish.
We don't even speak it.
And my English is not that great either.
Nope.
Public schools.
We don't even know how we're keeping this podcast together.
But how are you?
I'm good. How are you, ladies?
Good. I'm just trying to pull myself together from being the most ridiculous tech person to my podcast.
Wow.
You figured it out, though. You figured it out.
She did. I'm like, why are you being so hard on yourself? I would never even know how to do any of this without you. So
Oh,
she got
cute.
it. We got it.
It's all YouTube tutorials.
What would we do without YouTube?
know.
I don't think I would survive. I really don't.
I don't even know how we made it in life without the internet as long as we did.
We had internet by the time we were 10.
Yeah, but Google, come on. We didn't. Well, that dial-up life, no one was using it.
I know. I first saw you when I started following Christina from Booby Life.
Mm-hmm.
And I was just like, who is this girl? She is amazing.
These amazing earrings.
These amazing earrings. Your beautiful curly hair. And
Stop.
I know. I've been obsessed ever since. And I just want to know your story. I want to know all about you.
You want my whole story? Oh my goodness.
Start from birth. Your birthday.
Day one.
Day one. When I was born.
Oh, man.
Where do I start? Where do I begin?
I
What
guess
in my story do you want to know? Because I feel like I'm pretty open, and I feel like a lot of things about me are online, but I'm sure that I don't cover everything.
Yeah, we want to start with,
because we get little clips in between, right? A little story here, a little story there, but we want to kind of chronologize it. That's my English.
See, told you. I don't even know who gave us this podcast.
We gave it to ourselves.
I know, totally.
All right, well, since we're talking about motherhood, I guess we should kind of start there.
Okay. It's funny. I was just talking about the way I found out that I was pregnant.
Yeah.
Awesome. That's where we want to start.
That is where we want to start.
I think I was in denial for a little bit because I knew that I had missed a period and I had the sore boobs and I was really moody.
You were a pre-moody mom.
We love moodiness.
But I wasn't that secure in finding out. I didn't feel that strong to be yeah, I'm going to go and figure this out. And
wait, how old were you?
I was 29.
Okay.
Yeah. But their father, while we were dating at the time, he's actually the one that brought it up to me. He had said hey, you haven't had your period. And I was like, huh, that's interesting. but I think I knew, like deep down, I knew I was just trying to fake. Like, no way. There's no way. It's coming. My period's coming next week. Duh.
Denial.
Were you like are you typically on top of keeping track of your period?
Yeah, I usually know, like, it happens around the same day of every month, but
yeah, I'm the worst at it.
I'm pretty good at
it.
I haven't had one for like 3 years. Seriously.
Really?
It'd be nice when you're pregnant all the time.
Shut up.
That's true. That was such a nice, like, bonus to being pregnant, just not having to, like, worry about period.
Mm-hmm. Totally. I don't miss it at all.
Okay. So you were in denial about it.
Yeah, but I did take a test, and the test was very, very, very positive. And I made an appointment, like, shortly after that, maybe a week.
What were your, like, initial feelings?
My initial feeling, like, right when I saw the stick, I had a huge smile on my face. It was like a really big smile. I was super happy. But then reality hit, and their dad was not really happy about it. So I was, I had like mixed emotions because I was
How long were you guys together at this point?
4 months.
4 months.
Yeah. I definitely not looking for like a long-term partner. Right. But I really wanted a baby. I really, really wanted a baby, and I had come out of a 13-year relationship and been babies. And I think it was a little bit like, all right, well, I did the relationship and I had it, and like it didn't work out the way I wanted it to. So I'm going to find a way to make a baby now because that's what I wanted. So I found someone who I enjoyed being with at the time, but I did not see like a future with. There were qualities about him that I found like as admirable, and he's a single dad. So I just thought that things would work out different if we were to co-parent, or if we were to parent together but just not be together.
And how old was... So he had kids already, or just one?
Yeah. He has 3 other kids.
Okay. So...
Yeah.
Okay. And how old were those kids at the time?
15, 13, and 4.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then he already kind of knew the drill, like, oh, no, you're going to be pregnant. I know you're pregnant.
Yeah, I'm sure he definitely knew. But for me, everything was brand new, so I was like, no way. And then when I was like, oh my goodness, I was so excited. Like, I'm going to be a mom. I'm totally going to be a mom. And it just didn't, it didn't fly with him that way. And everything that I was getting at the time was, it just made me feel bad. Like, I was like, should I be doing this? Like, I thought about abortion because I was like, well, this guy is not really like down to have more kids. And he just kept telling me like things that didn't make it seem like it was going to be a pleasant experience. He was like, it's going to be really hard, and like you're never going to have time for yourself, and your boobs are going to sag, and just like you name it. And he, wanted to let me know that life was about to change.
Yeah. So I'm assuming that he's much older than you if he had like a 15-year-old at the time.
He, I think like 5 years older than I am. I think at the time he was 34.
Okay. So he was just a pretty young dad.
Yeah, he started young. So yeah, that was kind of like the beginning of finding out that I was pregnant. I was very like confused and mixed with feelings because even though I was like deep down happy and excited, I just felt like maybe it wasn't the time, or maybe I picked like the wrong person and I shouldn't have like done it that way. So I definitely had like a moment where I didn't really tell anyone. Just him and I knew, and I was debating. I was going back and forth, like, should I go through with this pregnancy, or, should I, take care of it and, just kind of move on. But regardless of what I like of that, I knew that I just didn't want to be with him. So at like finding out that I was pregnant, it was like an eye-opening experience, because I was like, all right, well, I got my babies, and it sounds really messed up, but like I feel like I got what I wanted, and then I was like, I don't want to do me and you, like not like that, you know, not to be together, you know, if you want to be the, you know, mom and dad, and we'll figure it out, because nowadays people figure it out and people are able to co-parent, but it didn't fly that way. So I knew from like pretty much the beginning that I was going to be doing it alone.
That's crazy.
And so at what point did you go to your first appointment and they told you that you were going to have not one baby, but two?
But two. I think I was 11 weeks pregnant, and I had my first OB appointment with my doctor, who gave me an ultrasound. She was like, you know, I feel a bump, and I think that we should, you know, see like, you know, what this looks like, if we can see anything. And mind you, I think a couple of weeks before I had my OB appointment, I had broken the news to my mom, because I was living with my mother at the time, and I was a little nervous at what she was gonna how she was gonna feel about the whole situation, because she didn't really like the guy. But I finally told her, and she told me, like, you know, it would be a trip if you had twins. And I was like, that's not funny.
That's
but
not
I did
funny. Don't you put that on me.
Right? I did have a dream that I gave birth to two babies.
Oh my gosh.
And then the day of my ultrasound, my sister came in with me, and she was crossing her fingers, and she was doing a little dance, and she was like, I hope you have twins. I hope you have twins. And I was like, can we like get that out of our heads? You know, let's not bring that to me.
Yeah.
So the minute that I got an ultrasound, I saw two little bubbles pop up, and the doctor like kind of put her head down. She was like, oh my. And I don't know. I can't really describe the feeling I felt, because I was not only surprised, I think I was like in shock for a minute. Like I couldn't believe what I was looking at. But boom, there are two little babies.
Oh my gosh.
two little seeds, two little eggs. Yeah, it was crazy. I don't know. I think I cried when I got to hear their heartbeats. That's when it like really sank in, and I was like, oh shit, this is like real. This is very real. But yeah, it's crazy.
I feel like I'm so hard on my emotions. Like I hardly ever cry in front of anybody for anything. So I'm just, when they let us hear the heartbeat, I was just like, okay, you can turn it off now. I don't need to hear it anyway. I got it. I get the point, guy.
I know it's in there.
I know.
All right, I hear it.
Okay, cool. Are we done with this now? Can I
I'm gonna
go?
go to my car and cry by myself.
I definitely I didn't cry like a baby like I usually do, but I shed tears. It just happened. I couldn't even control it. Just like, oh wow, I'm gonna have two babies.
Wow.
And then what did your mom say, and your sister? Were they like, I knew it?
Yeah, everyone was like, it had to be you. It had to be you.
Oh my goodness. And so how did the father feel when you told him?
I think he was just thinking about money. So I don't know if it was really excitement. I think it was just like, oh, you know, great. Not one, but two.
Yeah, that's not good. But I mean, I'm glad that you kind of figure that out like right in the beginning, you know, like
yeah, I was really stressed. Like I was super stressed. I was always crying and just not happy and not okay. It was like I never wanted my pregnancy, just thinking about being pregnant one day in my life. I never wanted to like be sad about it. And I feel like because of the interaction, I guess, with this man that I really tried at, because I was like, you know, I don't want to be like a super jerk. Like, I want to try, you know, and I feel like when two people can communicate or can just really be like very honest with each other and real and like still have like respect for each other, I feel like it can work. So I really tried in the beginning. Like, it was really difficult, but he always made me mad, and I was always screaming, and I was just always like sad about everything because I never felt support by him. Like, it's gonna be okay. He never told me it's gonna be okay. Like, things are gonna be all right. He never was like, oh, it's gonna be hard, but it'll be okay. He was just like, it's gonna be your headache. I remember him telling me like, you're gonna have a headache for 18 years. I was like, oh, great. That sounds fun. But I am like thankful that I did just kind of stay away and start to like know that that wasn't healthy. Like, just by me trying really hard to keep it as like together as much as possible, it didn't work. So I knew that I had to like step away, and it's unfortunate, but it is what it is.
So, at what point in your pregnancy did you guys part ways?
I think it was like maybe 6 months.
Okay.
I think that was like the last time I had like, because we wouldn't really speak. After a while, I would just text him, and I think I was about 6 months, like the last text.
So you don't speak to him at all anymore?
No, I haven't heard from that man since.
So he never saw the boys?
He's never met them, no.
Oh my gosh.
Wow.
What about like his parents? Nothing, like none of his family has anything to do with them?
No.
Wow.
Which I think is weird, but I'm not sure. I don't know how he copes with it or how he makes it like okay. Yeah. So maybe there's something, maybe he has like a story. So in that story just is what follows. Yeah. I'm not sure.
Is your mom a single mom as well, or did you grow up with your dad?
My mom is a single mom. Okay. I don't know my biological father, but the father that I do know that was there for a short time moved out when I was 9. Okay. So I was raised by my mom pretty much mostly alone.
And your sister. So she had the 2 of you.
Well, actually, there's 3 of us. I have 2 sisters.
Okay.
Yeah.
Are you the oldest?
I am.
Nice. Me too. She's the Stephanie Tanner.
I'm the middle
Nobody
child.
cared about her.
No one loves me. They still don't. It's okay, though. I love myself. That's why I only had 2 babies, because I never wanted one to feel like the middle child ever, because I am the middle child.
Oops. Okay, so I'm sure your mom was like really supportive with you then, knowing that she'd gone through this and was going to help you through it too?
I think my mom really tried in like the best that she could be supportive, but I think for me and my mom, it's kind of hard for us to communicate, so it wasn't like, it started to not become that supportive, because my mom told me like, your life is done, so I could never have like fun or anything.
You were 29 years old. Like, what is, you know what I mean? I think it's one thing if you're like a teenager
and pregnant, but I mean, I'm pretty sure you were done with the partying scene and, whatnot, but of course your life is going to change if you have to raise a child, but it's not over. It's just the beginning.
Yeah. Well, I feel like now I get to kind of, I have my own life, so I get to do some things that are, that get me out of the mom box. But, I feel like you go through it. You go through like spring. When you're like 21, you just drink like every single day.
Yeah, definitely.
Just because you can.
I know when I turned 22, I was like, I think I'm going to live in Vegas for an entire summer just because I can.
Just because you wanted to be
and I did
drunk.
That 2 summers in a row. I was just drunk for 2 summers straight.
Oh, man. Yeah, now it takes me like days to recuperate. Like I have one night of drinking and it's like 3 days later I'm like, oh, you know what? I'm starting to feel like a little bit normal.
Seriously, I'm the same.
I honestly think, okay, so I got drunk on my wedding night, which was, 2 weeks ago or something?
Congratulations, by the
Thank
way.
you. And then, like, seriously, I don't even know if I feel right yet.
Oh
Like,
my god!
I feel funny.
She just threw up before we started recording. No, just
I'm still throwing up from the champagne.
oh my
No,
God.
I'm not. But
No,
I
you're
did.
right.
I
It
did,
changes
I
for
did
sure.
feel weird for like a week after. I still don't feel right.
Mm-hmm. Body can't handle it anymore.
So did you? I know usually with twins they make you have them earlier, right?
Yeah, they were born 4 weeks early.
And was it like a scheduled like C-section, or did they just come?
No, I had a C-section. I had a scheduled C-section. I was going into labor about a month before I had them, but I was hospitalized for a couple days and I was given some medication to stop labor. Because they were just about to be 31 weeks and I think they were under 3 pounds, so they didn't want them to be born yet. And so for the last month that I was pregnant, I had to be bed rest, and I would get contractions every now and then. And I believe a week before I had them, I was getting checked like every 2 days, and I started to open. So that's why they scheduled me a C-section. Because Ezra was on the bottom, and he was like a Buddha. He was sitting on my pelvic bone, so I had to have them in via C-section.
Okay. That's so crazy.
It's so crazy.
I just spent the weekend with one of our cousins. They just had twins 3 months ago. And she's telling me how she could feel the babies like pushing off of each other the whole time they're in her stomach.
That's amazing.
Like one of them's up high and the other one's low. So
I always remember that. Just them, like in different times too. Ezra was always awake at night, and Soren was always awake during the day. So I had like two babies. They're different names.
They're cool.
I love Ezra.
They're gonna be the coolest boys in school.
No, not too cool. They can't be that cool. They have to be studious boys. Be smart.
They can be
Not
cool
just-
and smart.
It's cool to be smart.
Hopefully.
It's hip to be a square.
So, the babies were born, and how were your first days home from the hospital juggling both of these babies all by yourself? Did you get any help from anybody, your sisters, anybody?
So I had my mom. I stayed in the hospital for 4 days, and they were kind of worried about my blood pressure because my blood pressure wouldn't like stabilize for a while. And while I was in the hospital, my mom was a trooper. She was just there. Like I didn't have to worry about trying to grab those babies, even though I don't even know how I really could have. But she would always grab them and bring them to me so I could nurse them or change them or hold them or have some skin to skin. She like, I felt like she didn't really sleep at all. She was just on the clock feeding babies and helping me change them. And when I got home, it was a little different. I feel like the first night she was probably exhausted just from the 4 days of constantly being awake in the hospital and not getting comfortable rest. She was on some chair.
Right.
So she was very much asleep. So I took care of them all by myself the first night. And I don't think I'll ever like forget that night because it was hard. Like I remember trying to pull myself up. You know, they teach you the little ways to. I don't know if you guys had C-sections, but you know, you got to roll and then like walk yourself up from the bed. And I had two little screaming newborns that I was like, oh my goodness, okay, I'm getting up. Hold on. I feel like you're a zombie though. You know, the like new mom zombie. It's like you just kind of go on automatic and do what you got to do.
Like honestly, as soon as I had Justine, I was really like, any mom of multiples is a saint because I am dying right now, and I have one baby, and I have like two people really helping me. You know, like my husband and my mom were like there for everything. Like all I did was sleep when she slept, and when she needed to nurse, like my husband literally like would grab my boob and my nipple and stuff it in her mouth because she was still learning how to latch, and I'm like, I can't do it. She won't latch, and he's like, we're gonna get it in.
Oh my
I'm just like, no.
I know.
But, like,
You
I didn't do
are a saint. I can't even imagine having two at the same time all by yourself. So
And just like had a surgery.
I know. Oh my gosh.
That stuff is really painful. I didn't expect just to be in so much like pain after, because after almost being in the hospital for a week, I thought I would be able to move a little bit more, and it was still like really hard.
What's the aftercare like for a C-section?
Yeah, everything hurts. You got to roll out of bed. You got to put a pillow on your incision if you're gonna laugh or burp or cough. They don't give you anything. They didn't give me anything to like clean it with. They just told me like a antibacterial soap.
Okay.
It was really painful to take a shower though. For the incision to get any kind of water, it like would make me shake because it was just painful. But yeah, I think about 2 weeks after, I was okay enough to like walk without feeling like my insides were gonna pop out.
Oh no.
Gosh.
It took like months to feel like I wasn't peeing on myself.
Dude, after I had my first, I swear my butt hurt so bad for like 2-3 weeks, and I was just like, "Oh my god,
Did
did
I
she
have
come?"
it through my
Yeah, I'm
asshole?
like, did she come out of my ass? Like, I don't understand this. So I can't even imagine. Just like, oh, I would have been like, "Don't even hand me those children. I can't care for them right now. Please, someone,
Anyone.
anyone, God,
Mailman. Take her.
milkman, anyone."
Oh, that's hilarious. I know. Okay. So, I'm sure you had to create a schedule, right? Like really early on.
Yeah, I tried to keep track of everything because you forget you forget everything. Like how long was it since the baby ate? So I had a notebook right next to my bed that I would just write down like every time that they ate, every time that they fell asleep, and every time I changed a diaper and what kind of diaper. And so I started to kind of learn them just by doing that. And then I don't know, my babies were like really good. At 6 months, they just put themselves on a bedtime. I didn't do anything.
Wow.
I wish I could tell you like a secret way, but I just watched them and listened to them, and around 8 they wanted to go to sleep. Like that was bedtime. I was like, all right, cool, we'll enforce that. So it stuck with them, and now they're a year and a half, and 8:30 is bedtime.
That's
No matter what,
amazing.
even if I'm out, they get cranky. They're like, hey mom, it's bedtime. We gotta go home.
Cute.
I wish my kid put herself on bedtime.
Mm-hmm.
They try to stay up as late as they can.
They're party animals over here.
Knocking on wood right now because I'm sure at some point it might not be that way for me.
Well, maybe not. I mean, if it's been going for like a year now, I'm sure you'll be fine.
Yeah.
Yeah, because like when I spent the weekend with my cousin, like I was telling you, my cousin is the husband, and so he was, for his wife, he was doing everything, and he's just like, oh, it's been 3 hours, it's time for you to feed him again. And then one of them was able to latch, and the other one, I think they had to take him into
Tongue tie.
well, no, he doesn't have a tongue tie, but they took him into, I think he wasn't breathing right when he first came out, so they took him away for a little bit. So when they gave him back, they had already given him formula in between, so
Yeah.
he like didn't really take to her too well. So
Yeah.
she still gives him breast milk, but he doesn't latch on. She just pumps for him mostly.
Yeah.
So she's like pumping in the room, and then she's latching on the baby, and he's feeding the other one with the bottle, and it's just
Aw.
they're all over the place.
It's a little
but
circus over there.
Yeah, but they had it down like so good, you know, like they made the schedule where it's like, okay, you go do this, and I'm gonna be warming this, and they had all these cool little technology things where it looked like a Keurig machine, but instead of making coffee, it made bottles.
Yeah, I've seen
And
that.
I was like, what is this? And they're like, it saved our life.
I've seen that.
And they're like, anybody who has multiples needs this thing. Because I think they have a friend that also has twins that told them about it. Like, you need to buy this.
That's awesome.
I know. Like, self cleans and does everything.
That's amazing.
Life.
So you nursed both of them, right? For how long? Or are you still nursing, or?
No, I'm not still nursing, but I think Ezra weaned himself at 6 months, and then Soren I nursed a little bit longer. I think I nursed him till like almost 8 months.
Nice.
And then did you start supplementing, or was it just like pureed baby food after the 6 months?
No, they so when they were born, because they were born 4 weeks early, I still had two NICUs come in and take them to like make sure that everything was okay. And they told me that, and this is, I don't know, I feel like, I'm not sure if this is like the way that hospitals just go by, but they had told me that because my milk hadn't come in and wasn't going to come in, that they wanted to make sure that they could eat, that they could like suck. And so they asked me, like, can we give them a little bit of formula? And I told them that I didn't want them to have formula, that I wanted them to breastfeed. But they told me that if not, they wouldn't know if they could like drink on their own, and they would have to go and spend, some time in the NICU. So me not knowing, being his first time mom, I was like, yeah, sure. Like give them some, hopefully like they know how to suck and they're good and they can drink, and they did. So I did supplement. My breast pump was in my room and no one told me. Like, hey, that's your breast pump and you got to start pumping, and your milk's going to come in a couple days. So when my milk came in, I didn't express. I just had like these huge, hard boobies that I didn't know what to do with them. And I was like, like I just remember waking up like my boobs feel like boulders and they feel really heavy. And the babies did latch on, but I think because I wasn't pumping and I wasn't on it, my milk didn't come in like a lot. Like I probably had enough milk for one baby, but not two.
Okay.
So I supplemented.
Yeah. I mean, I feel like that makes the most, like, how are you going to make that much milk for two babies? They have one on each boob?
I've seen it too. It's amazing.
A couple twin moms that actually produced a lot of milk that was able to, feed two babies.
One day.
Just solely on breast milk, which is crazy.
That is crazy.
Champions.
You follow like a lot of twin moms?
Yeah, I feel like on Instagram, that's how I was able to, like, I don't have a network or like a mom. I don't really have a lot of moms around me. But I created like my Instagram, I guess, around the twins. And because of that, I still follow and talk to a lot of twin moms that are all over the place.
So did that help you, or when did you start your business?
I started my business back in 2014, 4 years ago.
Okay, so you were doing it before the babes
Before
came.
the babies.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I started to make things like 10 years ago, but I started it as like a business and actually got like a business name and created a plan and all that about 4 years ago.
Nice.
Yeah.
So do you have like a full-time job too, or is it just your business?
I don't have I was working full-time at the Apple store maybe about like 2 years ago. And then once I was pregnant, I kind of went on a leave for a little while. And I went back as a part-timer, but earlier this year, I resigned after 10 years.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So at the moment, I currently have like a couple part-time jobs that just allow me to have some time to do the mom thing and the business thing and juggle it all, but I don't have a full-time job. My full-time job is mom.
Definitely.
I wish mine was too. I feel like I'm part-time mom sometimes. Just because like I have to work so, like the time it takes to commute, and I have to be there for, 9 hours and then come back home, and then I get to spend like 4 hours with her, and then it's
Yeah.
like go to bed, and then the next day I'm gone all day again. So
Yeah.
it sucks.
It's crazy because I don't really know what the in between is. I was actually talking to another mom about this just kind of recently, where she is a teacher and she feels like she doesn't get to spend as much time. I think her daughter's about like a month or two older, actually, I think 2 or 3 months older than the boys. And she was telling me that she feels really sad sometimes because she's always at work and she always has work to do, and that she doesn't spend as much time as she would like to with her daughter. But here I am, where I'm kind of on the opposite scale. Like I'm around my boys pretty much all the time, like as much as possible, and it makes me feel bad. Like, I need to work harder because people don't think that I work enough, or that I'm not working for my kids, or and it starts to kind of make me feel a little guilty in a way. Like I need to go and find a full-time job. And so it was interesting to have that conversation because I don't know if there's a happy medium. I don't know if there is such a thing for us women to have enough time with our kids, but also enough time to work and be away from them and be happy about it.
Yeah,
And
probably
not feel
not.
the guilt. I don't think it's possible.
Yeah, because I know like Vanessa and I had the opposite, where she was home with the kids and she's like, I want to go do something, and I'm like, I can't leave. Like this is the only time
Yeah.
I just want to take her. And then she had Luna, and now it's like I don't do anything without my kids.
Mhm.
They have
Glued
to
to
come
me.
everywhere. I know. And then I forced her away from them for my bachelorette party.
It was great.
Don't
And
even talk about the kids.
now I'm like every month trying to figure out a way how to get out of this house without him again.
Right? I had my first mom vacation in June.
That's right. You went to Vegas, right?
Yeah, and I cried on the plane.
Aww.
And then I kind of was like, all right, you're okay and they're okay and everything's okay. But when I came back, I was like, all right, so like I got to make sure that once a month I at least do something for myself. It's just completely away from your kids, and that's just you time, because like makes you feel kind of refreshed, and it makes you miss them so much that you're like, oh my god, I can't wait to see my damn kids.
It's a good feeling.
I think I'm used to being away from her now. When we were gone for the weekend, I'm like, I have to go home.
Dragging her feet.